Welcome, everybody. This is day 46 of our Everyday Spring broadcasting in 2020, but we're going to leave these videos up for ages. And today we're introducing the Wolf Journey Trail of the Neighborhood Naturalist Field Exercise 1C. Is a creation of my wife, Kim McKillop Chisholm, who's just coming out in a minute. She's putting together her page to draw her study square. This is something that, as you can read in the text, and she'll tell about, she learned when she was just a kid and is now instituting here at Wolf Camp Conservation College at Blue Sky Farm, although we already do a little bit at our summer camps. So we're going to get right to it. I'm going to show you how to do this in my study square, which is on the porch right here. It's kind of showing, I have a really wonderful porch and everything. There's so much wildlife. The birds are crazy, as you can hear right now. They're flying. It's kind of showing, I have a really wonderful porch and everything. There's so much wildlife. The birds are crazy, as you can hear right now. They're flying all over the place. We've got mason bees just above me here that help all over the place. We've got mason bees just above me here that help pollinate our orchard we installed out front, all that sort of stuff. Not everybody has, that already ready to go. You might just be in your house looking out a window, which is fine. As a matter of fact, my old study said when we first moved in here, I think we moved in late December. And so I just did it from inside the house and hung up bird feeders out in front of the windows, that kind of thing, and did my studies. And I'd go out there. I was really busy at the time. So here she comes. And I'm going to start drawing while you're coming out. Can you say hello and tell them about Mr. Ari and your study square and how you came to that? Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to show everybody my clipboard that, it's actually Kim's clipboard.
I was lucky enough to have a great elementary school teacher who taught us all about nature, and we had the greatest series on clouds. We all got to make little airplanes. We get to make little balsa wood gliders, and then we get to make these paper airplanes that you can make them fly with a rubber band, spin around the propeller, and let it go. Oh, we had the best time in that class because everything was outdoors as much as we could for an elementary school, and it was all engaging. And so that's why the square foot worked really, really well for my class, because we all got to go out. We were overseen, of course, but it didn't feel like it because we were in the woods outside the school. Wonderful about being able to choose your own place in the world where you want to do your adventure. And so we all got to pick our own spot, and he helped, of course. It was wonderful. And then we would go out and we would draw in everything that was within our square on the size. Can you show my square foot?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just took 4 pieces of computer paper, and I taped them together in a square, sort of a weird rectangle, a little bit bigger than 12 by 12. And so it's hard to see on the screen, but it's, from here down to here over to here. And there's a little bit of a margin so that I could write things on there. You don't have to have.
Would you say, how big is the class? About 30 or so? Or, no, back then. Maybe
probably 20, 25. No, it was bigger than 25. That. It was a nice size.
How many so every teacher sometime during the elementary year should probably do this for all the kids in case they have a budding future naturalist such as yourself in the class,
they
right?
Totally should. And I think our class was the only one to do it. That was it every year. I don't think any other classes ever
was that
did
because
anything like that.
He saw something in you? Or
no.
Other kids that really love nature?
He just did that with his classes. He was like,
I gotta get all his classes did it. Oh, so he was the only teacher that did it.
Every year. So we had him all year. He was our specific teacher, and every year he would take his class.
Would you say there were any your other student and classmates? Do you have any idea? Did they kind of go into wildlife or nature or biology?
Oh, from elementary school?
No
idea. I really have
you
no
have to
idea.
Facebook stalk all your.
I really have no idea. But I can tell you that all the kids were engaged with all the different projects that we did. It was amazing. He made everything fun.
So since can I move my?
Yes, I'm going to get out of the way.
So normally you don't touch your square foot, but since mine is in a potted plant, I'm going to put it right up here on the stool so everybody can see it. And now Kim says don't touch as much as possible your study square. And up on the, oops, I just,
Oh.
well, you said you can sometimes slowly move things that will go back in place. So
No, not big like that. So what
Yeah.
I meant is something that's attached, like a
Okay.
blade of grass is attached. You can bend it over, look, and then move it back. But stuff like this is not attached. You will never be able to put that back in the same place that it was.
That's a good point.
Right.
Okay. Well, these are, this was a cedar tree that I had gotten as a little tiny seedling.
Oh,
look at this. Look at this, Kim. I already have a critter I noticed. Look at that.
Thanks, Josh.
Kimmer, look.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is a mason bee.
Woohoo!
Which, of course, is just from up above.
Yeah, looks like it's a girl.
Yeah.
I was going to say
look at how much nature you can bring in. So I found this as a little seedling at Kim's parents' house, and then just put it in a pot with the plants that were right there in that area. Oh my goodness, look at this. The mason bees.
Oh.
They're so full of pollen.
She just fell off of her.
Off.
Oh, there she goes. I'll get her. Don't worry. I got
Different
her.
mason bees, and that one, of course, we have a lot flying in.
So, you get to say you have your insect species in your.
And of course, these mason bees, research mason bees, and what's the name of the place that you get mason bees?
Crown bees.
Crown bees.
Crown bees is local and super awesome.
And learn all about mason bees. Bring those onto your porch, especially if you have any. And of course, you might want to plant out in your yard some flowering. I don't know, fruit trees or berries or anything that really need to be pollinated.
Can I just show them that?
Yeah, please.
Okay. All right. I don't know how to tip this. You guys can see it, but check out my cocoons for today. If you can see that. Okay, got you on there. Let's get you up here. Can you see all the little buzzers in there? Oh, it's going to be a rocking day.
All right. So I am going to have to turn over this awesome clipboard to Kim because it is hers. I'm going to just cut out a piece of plywood, or Kim had a great idea of a cookie sheet. Because a cookie sheet's great because, obviously if it's not too cold, if you're starting this in the winter, it's different. You got to find a study square that is, if you do go out into nature, you have to start a study square that is, under a tree or maybe behind on the leeward side of a rock or something so that you can see maybe a little bit of exposure of the ground, a little dead vegetation sticking out or something. And the other thing is that when we're going to go over and search for a study square, talk about Kim's study square spot. And now we don't have ticks. I know we're one of the very last places in the country. Barely have ticks. No, I mean on our property, none have ever been found. Sure. And so, we're going to be walking into tall grass in springtime in wetlands. That is tick area. So if you're going to be doing this, finding your study site, you probably will want to take that in consideration. If you're going to find a really super diverse study site that includes habitat like that, you're going to have to, dress appropriately, actually get like tick appropriate clothing, and of course do tick checks after you are done every time you go to your site. But we'll put a little bit more of that information. We have an actual tick protocol in our policy manual as part of Wolf's Journey Book 6, Trail of the Environmental Educator. We're going to pop into this chapter for those that need it. And probably have to do some for wintertime stuff and hot weather. Anyways, all right. So, Kimmer, I'm going to actually, because this is so much easier than doing your map of your entire study site, because you're actually doing this to the exact one-to-one scale, correct? Mm-hmm. And so I can actually measure it right on here. I'm going to turn it and get the width and it is the exact width of my paper. So I'm going to draw, of course, my pot.
And notice this doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be to scale and representative of what you see.
Now, if I were doing this slowly, I'd get one of those, what do you call the thing?
Is there a protractor?
Oh my gosh, it's been a while.
Is that right? Oh my gosh.
School. And my cedar tree, I'm going to have the cedar tree. You don't want to turn your plants around very much on your porch because it stresses them out when you turn. You think that you'd want to turn them, give them sun from all directions. No, they just want the sun from the one direction. They're used to growing that way. And so I am going to draw that where north is at the top. So my north is going to be up here. North is that direction in real life. And this tree, I think I'm just going to be backwards because it's going toward the sun that way. Yeah, so that's how it's going to be arranged, I believe. Yeah. No. Actually, it's gonna be sticking this
You
direction.
know what? We can get a Sharpie and
Yeah.
write N on the pot once you decide.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember
just write it in
accidentally
pencil.
pushing this when I wasn't supposed to. Some of the leaves.
That's
Yeah, it
okay.
was on
That's
that
now your
side.
new reality.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to draw all the leaf. Well, not all, every leaf. I'm not going to get super detailed, but I want to draw leaves. I want to draw some. What are these little cameras that are dropped in here? Those. Well, of course, those are from the poplar buds dropped in there. They're not going to be popping over this far anymore. And so this is.
That's okay. It's still the nature that will draw in whatever critters you get.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Look at that right there. You know what that is?
Oh my gosh, too bad we can't bring it and show people.
I know, we can't take it out and show y'all.
All right.
You have to draw
you know what
it,
we
then
should
you
do
can
is
see
go find your study site.
Okay.
Now-
Can I tell them what it is?
Oh, yeah.
It's a gall. You guys want us to talk
Can I
more
pull
about
it out and
galls?
show it?
No.
Just, I mean, we're education.
All right.
We're educating other people, not just ourselves in this case. So look at that.
Dun, dun, dun. Bring it up on
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
higher
bring it up.
one.
You might also, it'll hopefully focus.
Yeah, we'll have to look into what
Which
kind of
gall? I don't
gall it
recognize
is now.
that
A lot
on
of
the wall.
galls are created by wasps, and there's so many different little wasp species out there that they're not even named. It's amazing.
Do you want me to bring this clipboard?
Well,
I'll bring it
sure.
on. Okay, well, no, I can't because I'm going to be holding the cameras. All right, we're following Kim out to her site.
Well, and I've already showed him my.
That's true. All right,
Putting
let's
on
go.
my backpack.
For those that are wild childs that want to go out to a wild study site instead of just on our porches, those of us are too busy.
Okay.
Let's stay close to the router as much on YouTube. Still won't let us
I know it already said it was
live
unstable.
stream
Did you tell everybody at the
from
beginning?
the phone.
Put it off from, okay, so we're gonna take a different route today. Hi, chickens. Somebody has to
The
win.
chickens.
Look at Monday up on the kennel. So funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
So we're making a change. We're gonna rock our world today. So instead of heading the normal way to the study site that we talked about that I was gonna use beforehand, I am changing my location. Can you believe it?
Okay,
I had to do it, but
kind of have to go that way because we'll be too far from the router if you keep going to the right.
But I can't gently.
Kind of have to go this way a little bit. Again, it's for everybody else, not just us. Unfortunately, we have to make some compromises. All right. You want to pop here over? Because we're now as close to the router as we're going to be.
I mean, this is going to be an ugly popping over.
Right now, why is it we're not going back to your spot you were describing yesterday?
Okay, so the spot I was describing yesterday is really cool,
exactly
but
opposite
remember
side of it.
how we talked about you want to trust your gut and go with your feeling about it? I really like the area, but there was something missing. My gut was still saying, I need to keep looking. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go check the spot that I used before. Remember I showed you guys this picture before?
And especially since I'm going to blow through there with a lot of weed whack.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of changes. So I decided to put it on the other side of the fence and go back to my original site. So I headed out
That other
last night
side's not going to be
to check
touched.
it out.
So,
Yeah, it's not going to be touched. So anyway, I headed out last night to check it out. And when I got there, I found the most inspiring things for me, which are bugs and cool birds. So should we try to jump the fence?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, everybody, the reason that this side's going to get weed whacked is because all this invasive reed canary grass has to be mowed or shaded in order to beat it back and get other things going. And go ahead.
Don't show me
Okay. By the way, how far back are you going to go?
all over my face.
And so the other side of the fence here, we're shading out. These are willows that have been planted in the wetlands in order to shade out this reed canary grass, whereas over here just has to be absolutely mowed before. Actually, it should be kept mowed. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to hand me the stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you want to come in right here.
Well, I'm gonna have to lean it. Oh, you can't get over this direction. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Facebook should stay live. YouTube may drop out. We'll just have to post the Facebook video in place of the YouTube if it starts going on. And by the way, if anybody out there works for Google or YouTube, try to.
Here is a path of mud that has got tons and tons of wildlife activity and pathway.
Was an original tree. You can tell because it's actually mounded up underneath it.
Yeah.
And trees, don't grow out of the ground, they grow out of the air. And so they bring carbon down out of the air.
The view before. Let's turn that. Snag, see the tree. And now, there's the snag. Oops.
How many years later is this?
Up there, 10 years. So there's a snag in this one, there's a snag in this one, and
taking a while to shade out this Reed canary grass, but it's getting there.
This one was my tree. There you go. This one, that one, on both of them. So anyway, I'm going to turn this into my new study site, and I'm so excited about it because I've got wildlife antler rubs on one of the trees. I've got really amazing insects in here. I've got some birds in here that are beautiful, some neotropical migrants that have come in, and I'm also going to make a little corridor that goes straight down to the creek, where when I checked it yesterday, there were tracks from ducks and a small mammal, and there was some sort of a songbird that went in there. It looked really big. It was probably the crow. We've got crows nesting here, but I've got mud for wildlife tracking. I've got everything on this side. So my area is going to extend probably to the corner of our garage.
Same as
before.
Described yesterday.
Same as before. And it's going to head all on there. So that's going to help me figure out all my sizing and my overhead mapping of the area. And I printed all those things out. So I have them square shape or a rectangle with a big jut out pathway that heads over to the creek. And yours doesn't have to be a square either. It can be an amoeba shape or whatever you want. So I've got that kind of a zoom. And then look at the 3D.
Oh, that 3D.
Super
that's
cool.
This used to be just a field with a ditch on the edge that flooded all the time.
And my map, my square foot, is going to be kept in a little roll like this. And it will get smashed a little bit, and that's okay. But this is the best way I can find to keep it safe.
Where would you have a square foot? Do you know yet, or are you still thinking about it?
I'm torn because when you look at the area that's right underneath all these willow trees, there's not a ton of different vegetation, but I'm going to get a lot of wildlife moving through there. So it might be interesting. Goodness,
so many insects walking through.
Well, there'll be some insects, but it's the vegetation that's going to be lacking. So it's going to be a little bit of a compromise. I'm probably not going to do anything down by the creek.
You know what you should include if it is a muddy spot is like a branch or a stick that's fallen over the top of it, because you could get some mushrooms growing in that.
That's true.
Have ants crawling along it.
Oh yeah, I've already thought about that. I mean, obviously,
it.
I would not just pick a plain patch of mud. Let's bring this one down.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So, although the trees are probably way more cool looking. But there's a lot of overstory, interesting diversity around here. So I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to pick it really close to the fence and close to that snag. I'm going to do a little bit more exploration, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll actually have that chosen and sketched out so that I can show you all. And if it's not sketched out, at least hopefully it'll be chosen. But I mean, there's a ton. Do you just want to turn around and show them?
Two snails. Much Reed canary grass. This is actually some orchard grass, which isn't so bad. It doesn't block out all the native stuff.
If you
grandparents old.
Yeah. So what's really cool is from Google Maps, from the overview, satellite overview, you can see these.
So if you want to join us live or watch us many years from now, on Saturday we're going to introduce chapter 2 of the. Oh, you're going to head over toward your snag.
Well, I'm not,
and do all the field experiences in chapter 2 next Tuesday through Friday, and then the following Saturday introduce chapter 3, and then that's it. We're not going to do daily broadcasts after that, just Saturdays. We're going to introduce each chapter, maybe do the following Saturday introduce chapter 3, and then that's it. We're not going to do daily broadcasts after that, just Saturdays. We're going to introduce each chapter, maybe do some daily broadcasts during the summer. We'll see. But generally, it's going to be just Saturdays introducing each chapter. And of course, then we'll just embed those into the website that has the wolf journey on it. And you can watch those in perpetuity.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
Thanks for coming along with us today. And we hope you are all inspired to get out and enjoy.
See you tomorrow. Do you want to do that one?
I can do this one. All right.
Bye, y'all.